Welcome to this audio guide about Charles Bridge, one of the most emblematic and fascinating monuments of Prague and all of Central Europe. You are in the heart of the Czech capital, standing on a bridge that has connected the two banks of the Vltava River for more than 6 centuries and remains a universal symbol of architectural beauty and the city's history. Charles Bridge, also known as Karlův most in Czech, is Prague's oldest stone bridge and one of the most famous medieval bridges in the world. Its construction began in 1357 under the reign of King Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire and was completed in the early 15th century. This magnificent Gothic bridge replaced the old Judith Bridge, which was destroyed by a flood in 1342. The bridge's name honors King Charles IV, one of the most important monarchs in Czech and European history. Charles IV was King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, and during his reign Prague became one of the most important cities in Europe. The bridge was part of his vision to transform Prague into an imperial capital worthy of its status. Charles Bridge has an impressive length of 515 meters and a width of almost 10 meters. It is built with Bohemian sandstone and rises on 16 Gothic arches supported by massive pillars. The bridge's design is a masterpiece of medieval engineering, designed to withstand the powerful currents of the Vltava River and the floods that periodically affect the city. The bridge's construction began on July 9, 1357, at 5:31 in the morning, a date and time carefully chosen by the astrologers of Charles IV's court. This date, written as 1357795531, forms a palindromic sequence of odd numbers that reads the same forward and backward. 1357975531. The astrologers believed this numerical alignment would bring good fortune and protect the bridge from future damage. The bridge's main architect was Peter Parler, a German master builder who also worked on St. Vitus Cathedral and other important buildings in Prague. Parler was one of the most talented architects of his time, and his work on Charles Bridge demonstrates his mastery of Gothic techniques and innovation in structural engineering. The bridge's construction was a monumental project that required decades of work. The bridge's pillars were built using wooden caissons that were sunk into the riverbed and then filled with stone and mortar. This method, though primitive by modern standards, was extremely effective and allowed for creating a solid foundation for the bridge. Charles Bridge is decorated with 30 statues and sculptural groups, mostly in baroque style, which were added between the 17th and 19th centuries. These statues primarily represent saints and religious figures important to Czech and Catholic history. The most famous is the statue of Saint John of Nepomuk, a Czech saint who was martyred in the 14th century. The statue of Saint John of Nepomuk is especially significant because it marks the spot where the saint is said to have been thrown into the Vltava River in 1393. According to legend, King Wenceslas IV ordered John of Nepomuk to be thrown into the river because he refused to reveal the queen's confession secrets. The statue was placed in 1683 and has become one of the bridge's most recognizable symbols. The bridge's other statues include representations of the Holy Trinity, Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Joseph, the Virgin Mary with the child Jesus, and many other saints. Each statue has its own story and meaning, and together they create a unique open-air gallery that reflects the religious devotion and cultural history of Bohemia. The bridge is flanked by 2 impressive towers, one at each end. The Old Town Bridge Tower, on the east side, is one of Prague's most beautiful Gothic structures. It was built around 1380 and is decorated with sculptures representing Charles IV and his son Wenceslas IV, as well as patron saints of Bohemia. The tower served both as fortification and symbol of royal power. The Lesser Town Bridge Tower, on the west side, is older and was built as part of Prague Castle's fortifications. This tower is simpler in design but equally impressive, and offers spectacular views of the river and city. Both towers have been restored several times over the centuries but maintain their medieval character. Charles Bridge has witnessed numerous important historical events. During the 30 Years' War in the 17th century, the bridge was the scene of battles between Protestant and Catholic forces. In 1648, during the Swedish siege of Prague, Swedish troops attempted to cross the bridge but were repelled by Czech defenders and university students. During World War II, Charles Bridge was a symbol of resistance for the Czech people. Although Prague was occupied by Nazi forces, the bridge remained intact, unlike many other European monuments that were destroyed during the conflict. After the war, the bridge became a symbol of the Czech nation's survival and resistance. The bridge has also been the scene of important cultural and political events. During the Prague Spring in 1968, the bridge was a gathering place for demonstrators seeking democratic reforms. More recently, it has been the site of celebrations, concerts, and cultural events that attract thousands of visitors. Over the centuries, Charles Bridge has required numerous repairs and restorations. Periodic floods of the Vltava have caused damage to the bridge's pillars and structure. The most important restoration took place after the Great Flood of 1890, when several arches were rebuilt. Other important restorations were carried out in the 20th and 21st centuries to preserve the bridge for future generations. The conservation of Charles Bridge is a constant challenge. Atmospheric pollution, traffic vibrations, and the simple passage of time threaten the stone structure and statues. Conservators use advanced techniques to clean and protect the stones, and the original statues have been replaced by replicas, while the originals are preserved in museums. Charles Bridge is now exclusively pedestrian, a decision made in the 1960s to protect the historic structure from damage caused by vehicular traffic. This measure has allowed the bridge to become a vibrant public space where artists, street musicians, vendors, and tourists mingle in a unique atmosphere. Walking across Charles Bridge is an unforgettable experience. During the day, the bridge is full of life. Artists selling their works, musicians playing traditional Czech music, vendors offering souvenirs, and tourists from around the world admiring the views. At night, the bridge takes on a more romantic character, illuminated by historic street lamps that create a magical atmosphere. The views from Charles Bridge are spectacular. To the east, you can see Prague's old town with its Gothic and baroque towers. To the west, Prague Castle dominates the hill, creating one of Europe's most iconic views. The Vltava River flows below, reflecting the historic buildings and creating perfect postcards at any time of day. Charles Bridge also has a rich history of legends and myths. One of the most famous legends tells that the bridge's builder made a pact with the devil to complete the construction. According to the legend, the devil helped build the bridge in exchange for the soul of the first person to cross it. However, the clever builder had a rooster cross first, tricking the devil and saving human souls. Another popular legend speaks of secrets hidden in the bridge. It is said that there are treasures buried under the bridge's pillars, and that certain statues have magical powers. These legends, though probably fictional, add an element of mystery and romance to the bridge that has captivated generations of visitors. Charles Bridge has inspired countless works of art, literature, and music. Poets, writers, and composers have found inspiration in its beauty and the views it offers. The bridge appears in novels, films, and songs, and has become a cultural symbol that transcends the borders of the Czech Republic. Charles Bridge's architectural importance is immense. It is one of the best examples of Gothic architecture in bridges and demonstrates the technical skills of medieval builders. The bridge's design has influenced the construction of other bridges in Central Europe, and its construction techniques continue to be studied by engineers and historians. The bridge is also important for Czech national identity. It is a symbol of Czech history, culture, and resistance. During periods of occupation and oppression, the bridge has served as a reminder of Bohemia's past greatness and the Czech people's ability to survive and prosper. Today, Charles Bridge is one of Prague's most visited monuments, with millions of tourists crossing it each year. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of Prague's historic center, and is considered one of Europe's architectural wonders. The experience of crossing Charles Bridge is unique. Each step on its stones worn by centuries of pedestrian traffic is a journey through time. The baroque statues that flank the bridge tell stories of faith, devotion, and art, while the views of the river and city offer an incomparable perspective of Prague's beauty. The bridge is also a meeting place for Praguers. Although it is full of tourists during the day, local residents also use it for strolling, meeting friends, or simply enjoying the views. This mix of tourism and local life creates a unique atmosphere that makes the bridge more than just a historic monument. The conservation of Charles Bridge requires constant efforts and significant resources. The Czech government, along with international organizations, invests in preserving this national treasure. Restoration work is carried out regularly to ensure that the bridge can continue to be enjoyed by future generations. Charles Bridge has also been the subject of exhaustive scientific studies. Engineers have analyzed its structure, archaeologists have excavated around its pillars, and art historians have documented every statue and architectural detail. These studies have revealed valuable information about medieval construction techniques and the bridge's history. The bridge also reflects changes in Czech society over the centuries. From its construction in medieval times to its role in modern history, the bridge has witnessed political, social, and cultural transformations. It has survived wars, revolutions, occupations, and regime changes, remaining as a constant symbol of Prague. For Praguers, Charles Bridge is more than a historic monument. It is part of their identity, a place where memories have been created, where important events have been celebrated, and where history has been lived. The bridge connects not only the two banks of the river, but also the city's past and present. Charles Bridge is also important for Prague's tourism. It is one of the city's most popular attractions and draws visitors from around the world. Guided tours of the bridge offer detailed information about its history, architecture, and the stories behind each statue. The bridge's lighting has been improved over the years to enhance its nighttime beauty. Historic street lamps have been restored and complemented with modern lighting that highlights architectural features and statues. At night, the bridge transforms into a spectacle of light and shadow that is truly magical. Charles Bridge has also been the scene of important cultural events. Concerts, festivals, and celebrations have been held on and around the bridge, taking advantage of its central location and architectural beauty. These events have helped keep the bridge as a vibrant and relevant place in Prague's cultural life. The experience of visiting Charles Bridge changes with the seasons. In spring and summer, the bridge is full of life and color, with flowers and vegetation adding beauty to the views. In autumn, the changing colors of the leaves create a spectacular backdrop. In winter, when the river may partially freeze and snow covers the towers, the bridge takes on a completely different but equally beautiful character. Charles Bridge is also important for the local economy. The vendors, artists, and musicians who work on the bridge depend on tourism for their livelihood. The bridge generates employment and income for the city, while also contributing to Prague's cultural and touristic identity. The conservation of Charles Bridge is a shared responsibility. The government, conservation organizations, and local community work together to preserve this treasure. Visitors also play an important role by respecting the bridge and following regulations designed to protect it. When contemplating Charles Bridge, you are seeing not just a historic bridge, but a testament to human ability to create lasting beauty, a symbol of cultural resistance, and a bridge both literal and metaphorical between past and present. The bridge has connected the two banks of the Vltava for more than 6 centuries and remains as impressive today as when it was built. The next time you visit Prague, take a moment to reflect on everything Charles Bridge represents. It is more than a bridge. It is a symbol of Czech history, an example of medieval art and architecture, and a place where past and present meet in a beautiful and meaningful way. Thank you for listening to this audio guide about Charles Bridge. We hope it has enriched your experience and that you have discovered new aspects of this extraordinary monument. History and architectural beauty are in every stone, every statue, and every view from this magnificent bridge. Enjoy the rest of your visit to Prague, the city of 100 spires.